What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle. My name is Blitz Link, and I'm here with Dan today. We are talking week four predictions. We got our first international game that's going to make Dan wake up at 5 in the morning and watch
Huh.
ball. Nothing better than that. So let's get right in the video, talk about all of our picks throughout the week. We're going to highlight the key games, any sort of bets we like, any sort of players that we like, anything that you guys need to know to crush these matchups and, potentially move on in those survivor pools that you guys are in. Let's start with that international game. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings. Dan, talk to me a little bit about what you're looking at in this matchup.
Yeah, it's the Minnesota Vikings, man. They're going on. They're gonna be spending 2 weeks in Europe. I want to see how it affects them. In this game, I took Minnesota. I think their defense is legit, and in every game Pittsburgh has played, I feel like they've been outplayed, but they're ended up with a 2-1 record. So I just think
Sounds
Minnesota's
like
a
a
better
Mike
team.
Tomlin led team.
They find ways to win, and he gets the 500 at the end of the year, right?
Yep, that's
But
exactly what
but
happens.
yeah, so just that, yeah, I like the Vikings. They're 2-1. Carson Wentz is going to continue to lead this team. I really like their defense, and I want to see how they respond spending 2 weeks in Europe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a closer matchup than people think. I think um, the Vikings defense, though, is going to eat alive the Steelers offense. The Steelers offense doesn't have much going for them. I like the unders on DK Metcalf yards. I like Aaron Rodgers unders as well. Rodgers actually ranks in the bottom 10 in terms of completion over expected and other key stats. So, not necessarily performing as well as I think many expect because he does have those 7 touchdown passes, and people view that. And they're like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers, he's back. Pause it a little bit. This Pittsburgh Steelers offense is not great, and their defense has not been performing like they normally do.
Yeah,
This would be a massive win for the Vikings that honestly could be, moving towards a 3-1, 4-1 type record without JJ McCarthy. And then when he gets inserted back in there, they're still in a good spot for their upcoming divisional games that'll be very important. So I got the Vikings. I think this defense is going to absolutely feast on this Steelers offense that's a lot weaker than people think, like you mentioned. Let's get to the next game here.
yeah. Sorry, real quick,
What were you
Ryan.
gonna
Real
say?
quick. Just week one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers looked great week one against the Jets. We all thought
Yep.
he was back, but since then he played Seattle, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. Last week against New England without Christian Gonzalez, two TDs, 1 interception. So he hasn't looked as good since week one.
He just
So
locked
that
in
that
for
Minnesota,
that revenge game.
yeah, that's true. So we're gonna see how he responds against a tough Minnesota defense.
100%. The next game, the
Yeah,
Washington Commanders versus the Atlanta Falcons. Current spread right now is +1 for the Falcons at home. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one for Jaden Daniels, who most likely will play. He logged a limited practice.
okay.
Terry McLaurin hasn't practiced. Bill Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, for you fantasy football player, hasn't practiced. This could be a Jaden Daniels only type game if they're going to try to win this one. What are your thoughts? Obviously, Michael Penix Jr. is coming off an absolute stinker against the Carolina Panthers. Tough one to pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I took, Atlanta in this game for a bounce back.
Hmm.
I don't know, we're gonna see if Jaden Daniels is healthy. Because
Yeah.
I know I was anticipating, because we make these picks real early, so I was anticipating, Mariota starting this game, but I'll ride with the Falcons because I think eventually this offense is gonna click. They're moving their offensive coordinator down on the field, try to switch it up. They fired their wide receiver coach, but I really like, sorry, I'm switching around. Their offense, they got too much talent, to for Penix to be playing like that. I think we should
Yeah.
expect a better game from Penix this week. Let's run the ball more, rely more on play action, and then that defense too. I really like their pass rushers. They looked pretty good so far, so I'm expecting a bounce back game at home for Atlanta.
Yeah, and this is going to be an incredibly close matchup. And the interesting part is the Falcons defense honestly is the X factor for me. And this is despite me still going with the Commanders for my pick, but the Falcons defense is just elite, elite, elite in terms of what they've changed on this group. Very good pass rush. They have a solid secondary, and their front seven's pretty good as well. So you pair all that together
Yeah.
against the Commanders, who are going to be without Terry McLaurin, right? Zach Ertz is
Oh,
facing the
okay.
number
Yeah.
one ranked defense against tight ends, right? All that's telling me not to pick the Commanders, but what I watched from Michael Penix last week was just honestly one of the worst quarterback
Bad.
performances of the year so
It's
far,
bad.
and I'm not really confident in him right now. the Washington Commanders defense hasn't been bad, Dan. Like they've
No,
been pretty solid to open the year. So like it's a toss up for me. It really is. I think in terms of like betting advice, I'm staying away from this game
yeah, don't
because
bet this
it
game.
yeah, just don't bet this game. This is a tough game to predict right now, and it really could go either way. I think one of the more interesting matchups though in this 12 o'clock slate, Eagles Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And obviously the Bucks took down the Eagles last year at one point. What are you looking at in this matchup?
Yeah, I want to see the Buccaneers get some of their guys back. In this game, I took Tampa Bay. They actually, I think they won 2 or 3 in a row. I got to pull it up against the Eagles in Tampa Bay. For some reason, Philadelphia struggles down in Florida. I know they're going a day earlier to try to acclimate to the weather, but yeah, they have a tough time down there. And I know Tampa Bay is getting Chris Godwin this week. Also, their offensive lineman Tristan Wirfs and Baker's on a heater right now. I really like what Baker's
Yep.
doing. I don't know what the MVP race is looking like, but his name should be in it, and he's playing extremely well. And Tampa Bay is just one of those teams that like each and every offseason, like nobody ever brings up Tampa Bay as one of the premier teams in the league, but they just always continue to win. I don't know how many years in a row they won their division. It's just I think they're 3-0 and they're still underrated. So I really like Tampa Bay this week.
100%, dude. They're currently plus 3.5. So I think it's a good value in
Yeah, okay.
terms of what you're trying to bet. And this Tampa Bay defense is incredibly underrated,
Yeah,
out of the gates this season. Sure, they didn't add like top tier defensive talent to this unit, but they've done enough in the offseason to where the Bucks defense is performing well to start the year. They haven't had a super easy schedule. They've been in close games every single game to start the year, and it's been down to one possession. So I think with the
yeah,
Bucks, I want to see this team, and Mike Evans is out now. They still have injuries that are impacting them. I want to see this team what they can do against the Eagles. And the Eagles side of things, like can they build off that momentum in the passing game that they had? Can Kevin Patullo actually get this passing game opened up like he did in the second half? We'll see if they wind up
yeah.
doing
It's a
that.
big question. Yeah,
It is. It is. I don't love the Eagles at -3.5. I think an alternate spread of -2.5 makes more sense. I'm riding with the Eagles in this one. I think this is their get right game against the Bucks in particular. I think the Eagles, probably could be easily 0-3 at this point with how they played in each of those 3 games, but found ways to win in different ways. And they're kind of like the Chiefs last year. Like they just find a way to win at the end of the day. It might not look pretty, but they're going to find ways to win. Hard to pick against the Eagles right now until they lose. So I'm going with Philly, even though I don't think Philly is as good as many people think this year.
yeah.
Let's get into some other important 12 o'clock slates. I want to talk about one game that probably not a lot of people will talk about. It's Patriots and Panthers, between two teams looking for breakout performances from their quarterbacks this year to potentially, say we got our guy. Drake May obviously has flashed it. Bryce Young had a nice bounce back week last week. What are you looking at with this matchup?
Well, the first thing that pops out to me is I think for all the fantasy folks out there, I think this is the game Trayvon Henderson breaks out. I think this is
That's what
the
I'm saying too.
yeah.
100% saying
Yeah,
that.
he had 11 carries, season high last week, and I think if you continue to just give him touches in the running game, the passing game, this is the game he's gonna break out. He's got a good matchup against Carolina, and I believe New England is getting Christian Gonzalez back this week, right? I
That's the
thought I saw
rumor right
something.
now. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they really miss him on defense, and I just think New England's the better team. They're young. I mean, even last week against Pittsburgh, I thought they should have won the game. Just simple mistakes. Drake May interception before the half, fumbles. Drake May driving, he fumbles. Uh, in the on the opposing field, Pittsburgh side of the field. So it's just if they fix those mistakes, they'll pull out victories in these games. And I still like, New England. I think they're gonna build momentum, and they're at home, and they're, -5.5 too, so Vegas believes in them too, so I'm gonna ride with,
Vegas
New England this
Vegas
week.
really believes in the Patriots. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were
They're
all about the
good.
Patriots like that.
Yeah, they're good, against the run. That's what they've been really
They
good at
are.
this year.
They are, and that's gonna be
Yeah,
tough for the Panthers, too. It felt like very opportunistic last week, on Michael Penix's bad game, resulted in a
yeah,
nice game for them. I mean, the Patriots feel like they're close. They need to start
mhm,
finding ways to win these football games instead of, the turnovers that's going on. I think that against the Panthers defense, that's been a little bit underrated to start this year. It's a good test for them, and I wanna see, like you mentioned, Travion Henderson. I love his overs this week. I love Hunter Henry overs this week as well. think Drake May will have a solid game, but Bryce Young, can you compete against another young quarterback and take him down? You're supposed to be the savvy vet compared to this guy. Let's see if you can do it again. I'm not believing in it though. I'm rocking Patriots in this matchup. Final questions for the 12 o'clock slate, Dan. Better
Yeah.
chance of the upset in all these games. Chargers versus Giants. You have the Texans favored by 7 against the Titans. Both teams are 0-3. The
Mhm.
Lions are favored by 10 points against the Browns. The Bills are favored by 15.5 points against the Saints. Which of these teams are you taking as the potential
Man,
upset?
put me in a spot here. Well, from my point of view, I think they're all the favorites are winning in those games.
Okay, fair. Well, that's not a bold
Yeah,
take
if
right there.
yeah, I don't see any of those underdogs winning. I know Houston's 0-3, but I know
Honestly, I
Tennessee's
was gonna
dealing with
say
some.
Tennessee. I think Tennessee has the
Ye
best chance of pulling it off.
Okay,
Houston at 0-3. I mean, dude, the over and under total is 38.5 in this one.
yeah.
It is gonna be a field goal fest, and the Titans defense is not like atrocious, so
No,
they're gonna be able to throw up a
no,
good
they're
fight.
underrated.
Yeah, like I
How's
think
Cam Ward there? Sorry,
Cam
is he
Ward's not
healthy?
great right now. Brian
No,
Callahan
no, is
actually
it?
demoted himself from play
Oh,
calling.
yeah, but I thought Cam Ward was dealing like an ankle. I thought he popped up on the injury report.
Honestly, it probably wouldn't make a difference if he plays or I think it's like Mason Rudolph's back in Pittsburgh. I don't even know who the 3rd string guy is right now.
We'll
I
look it up.
think I think
Yeah,
even, like, despite the quarterback problems for Tennessee, I think the change for play calling could be even bigger. Brandon Allen is their backup right now. So,
okay.
not great, but the change in play caller from, Brian Callahan to somebody else is a big time move. Callahan has stunk this season really, really bad, and Cam Ward just needs to be able to get in a rhythm, and I think if he does get in a rhythm, who knows? The Texans offense is brutal this year.
Yeah, yeah, you never know. I just think, from perspective, Houston's at home and they're desperate, and I mean, they're -7. I think they're gonna get after, Cam Ward and Tennessee Titans at home. So
100%. Let's move on to the next slate of games here. Colts versus Rams. Rams are favored by 3.5 at home. This is going to be a great game. We have MVP candidate Daniel Jones. Never thought I'd be saying that, but here I am.
oh,
Versus Matthew Stafford, Puka Nakua, and Devontae Adams, who choked away a game last week against the Eagles. What are your thoughts heading into this matchup?
man, yeah. I mean, who would have thought week 4 of the season, the Colts would be 3-0 against the Rams team? Have a better record than the Rams after 3 weeks. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah, I took the Rams in this matchup because I just thought, I mean, they played so well against the Eagles. Man, the Colts are rolling though. Man, I mean, hey, if the Colts win this game, if they go on the road and beat the Rams in LA, I mean, they're for real. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
more.
you can't
Th-
argue against
This
that.
is it. Like this is it. Because I know the Colts have had a softer stretch schedule. I know Denver's a good at team, so that's a great win. But their other wins, they played Tennessee last week, and then week 1 they played Miami. So they need more. Like in college football, you need more quality wins. Like the committee says, this would be a quality win. So let's see what the Colts got. But this is why I took the Rams because I want to see it. I want to see it to believe it first. So I took
Yep,
the
I'm in
Rams
the
at
same
home. I
boat as
think,
you. I don't believe the
yeah,
hype just yet in this game, and I think the over and under total at 49.5 is a little bit high. Both these defenses have been playing at pretty good levels to start the season. Rams
yeah.
defense especially is a very, very strong unit, and I think their, pass rush could give, that Colts offensive line a lot of problems in this one. So, I like the Rams in this one, and I think if Indiana Jones can pull this off, whew, this is a big time statement game from them because they have a very easy division and they can absolutely take over this season. So I think within that matchup too, like Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams, really good, over numbers for both those guys in that one. I think Jonathan Taylor is a guy you look at against a tough Rams rush defense, potentially go with the under in that matchup, and you can't go wrong with a Kyron Williams anytime touchdown. So like all those bets in that game. Let's get to another really strong 3 o'clock game. Chiefs, Ravens, the one that everybody's going to be paying attention to, Dan. Maybe probably the closest matchup of the week because both these teams have a lot of weaknesses right now. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Okay, so I'm looking at our picks. So we both picked the same team here. I
Did we?
think yeah, yeah, we did. So the Chiefs always play Lamar they always have, like, a plan for Lamar, like, whenever Lamar plays the Chiefs, besides, like, one shootout, I think, I forget what year that was, but it always seems like Steve Spagnuolo has a really good plan to defend Lamar. So I that's why I just took the Chiefs at home, they're underdogs, and aren't they getting Xavier Worthy back this week too?
Xavier Worthy is returning to the lineup this week,
Yeah,
Dan.
so yeah, that's a huge it's gonna change their offense. He'll be able to stretch the field even if he's not fully healthy. Yeah, it's a big weapon for the Ravens defense to look out for. And I know it hasn't looked pretty this year for the Chiefs. It hasn't looked pretty, and eventually they got to turn it around. So Chiefs underdog at home. I took KC.
I think, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, the Chiefs are 5-1 against Lamar Jackson led Ravens. The one loss, this is what you were talking about. Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled the ball to close out the game with the Ravens. I think they only had one or two timeouts left, and the Chiefs just had to run out the clock. Clyde fumbles the ball, Ravens score a touchdown, and they win because of that. So that is the
Okay,
only
yeah,
time
Tony
that the
fumbled.
Lamar Jackson led Ravens have beaten the Chiefs since the Mahomes era started. The biggest thing in the X factor for this one, it's not Xavier Worthy returning. It's not Lamar Jackson being such a great player. The Chiefs offense struggling. It's the Ravens defense for me, right? This is
Oh
the
yeah, there you go.
worst. This is the worst unit the Chiefs have played this year in terms of defense right now. This is the 30th ranked run defense. This is the 32nd ranked team on third down. Like this team is reeling right now on the defensive side of the ball. Without Madubuike in this matchup, it's going to make things a lot easier for the Chiefs. And we saw in that second half, they started to figure some stuff out. They ran a lot more RPOs. They ran a lot more on second down. They had a lot more success in that second half. And you mentioned the game plans against Lamar Jackson. You know who ran that game plan last week? The Detroit Lions. And they had a lot of success in the second half, especially containing Lamar Jackson in that matchup. I like the Chiefs in this one. And I think the Chiefs, honestly, I'm surprised they're actually underdogs at home based on, just the matchup itself. I think a lot of people are betting Ravens because they've watched the Chiefs for a few weeks and think, oh, the
Yeah, that's
Chiefs have
why.
no
Yeah,
chance against the Ravens. But I think some people are going to be surprised with how the Chiefs play in this matchup. They match up very well against the Ravens, and I think this is their most favorable matchup in terms of a defense this year compared to what they've seen. Um, let's go into another game here. Jags versus 49ers, and then you have Bears versus Raiders. I feel like these are similar type matchups. You have two teams in the Jags and 49ers didn't make the playoffs last year. Both had pretty bad records, are trying to continue to prove themselves. Brock Purdy has a chance of returning. We'll see what happens if not. Mac Jones' revenge game against the Jaguars. Then you have Caleb Williams and the Bears, man. They showed out last week against the Dallas Cowboys. Can we expect two big performances from the Bears? Talk to me about these two matchups, Dan.
yeah. Well, let's go. We'll start off in Santa Clara here. Jacksonville, San Francisco. I took the Jaguars in this matchup.
Mhm.
I mean, if they didn't give away the game against Cincinnati, they could easily be 3-0 as well. This could be a battle of undefeated teams. I just think Jacksonville's healthier right now. Cisco's running out of bodies. They lost Bosa. I don't think Kearshaw is playing this week. Last I checked, and we don't know.
Pearsall's going to play.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah, he took the knee thing was like a little bit more of like a maintenance thing
Where's his
than
injury? Okay.
he was limited today at practice. He'll be
Okay.
fine.
All right. Well, I'm still taking Jacksonville because I really think they're underrated. They got talent on both sides of the ball, and I think that it's just like a ticking time bomb. I think they're just waiting to get going on both sides of the ball, and I think they're going to get after this team. San Francisco's having trouble running the ball this year, so
They
I
are.
want to
Their
see if they
offensive
can.
line has not been very good.
Yeah, and Jacksonville's got an underrated front, so I think Jacksonville's going to go on the road and pull this game out.
49ers have won some ugly games, it feels
Yeah,
like
that's
this
true.
year. They haven't
Yeah,
they haven't won pretty by any means to start the season. It's not like they've faced like a very tough schedule. I think the Seattle win's one that stands out for me that's very impressive. The Cardinals last week was ugly. The Saints game wasn't pretty either. Like they got two division wins under their belt. That's a great step in the right direction. But this Jags win would set this team up for a really nice position when they get a lot of their guys healthy down the stretch this year.
yeah,
The Jag side of things, I don't know if I can just trust this passing offense right now, Dan. Like
yeah,
it's been 3 weeks and we're all like, oh, there's better days
yeah.
ahead. There's better days
That's what
ahead.
we
It's
all think. That's
coming.
what I think. Yeah,
It's not coming. Like I can't buy into Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback. I can't buy into Brian Thomas Jr. right now with his mental problems in terms of dropping the football. Like the Jaguars are just off offensively right now, and against the 49ers defense that has allowed under 220 passing yards in every game this year, I mean, that's still really good numbers. Sure, Nick Bosa is going to hurt that, but they've been elite to start the season. If they're just above average, that's going to give the Jaguars problems who have had really good matchups to start the season, and they haven't really played that well. So I'm riding with the 49ers. I think the X factor in this one, and you're right, is can the 49ers get Christian McCaffrey working and open up more
Yeah,
layers
he's the guy.
to this offense? All right, the Bears and the Raiders, Dan. I talked about it. Caleb Williams, maybe the MVP last
Yeah,
week.
it's gonna
The
be a fun
Raiders
game.
defense
Yep.
has been struggling. Can Caleb Williams carry this team, or is this the Raiders statement game where they say enough is enough after two bad performances?
No, I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. This is gonna be another. Yeah, the Raiders, the Cowboys are one of the worst defenses in the league. The Raiders have a better defense than them, and I believe that's why they're favored. Is they're going to give the Bears a little more resistance, but Caleb's special. He's gonna get his. He's gonna have a couple TDs on Sunday, and I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. The one X factor I'm thinking I'm looking at on the Raiders side is their running game. Their first 3 games, they played really tough defenses, against the run. So like this is it's week 4, it's like to me, it's like now or never. If you can't run on the Bears, who haven't been good at all this season, like this is it. Like it's gonna be a long season for that running game and Ashton Genty. So
Yeah.
I'm banking on I really think this is gonna be a big game for Ashton Genty because I really think they're gonna be able to open holes against this Bears defense.
Yeah, they need
So
to.
it's
This
now
is
or never.
a
Yeah,
like we kind of talked about this with your other team, the Cardinals, right? Like this feels
yeah,
like a must-win game for the Raiders in ways where their offense needs to get going, their defense needs to make some stops. This feels like a get right. Like the Raiders need this one bad. They're actually favored by 1 right now at home, which technically means they're like +2 in terms of like the 3-point spread at home. So I think with Chicago, like their defense is so exploitable without Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon's missing. TJ Edwards is hurt right now. Like they have so many injuries on the defensive side of the ball. If the Raiders can exploit that, like what
yeah. That's
it's just like okay, we can't buy into the Raiders this year. They're just not going to be good. So I think I'm going to go with Chicago in this one. I think Ben Johnson facing 2 division opponents. I mean, look, I think we can agree the Vikings and Lions defenses after 3 weeks look like 2 of the top 5 units potentially in the NFL. And then we get a good matchup for Caleb Williams against the Cowboys. I
yeah.
want to see what they can do again in another neutral type matchup. I think should be a good day for the Bears offense. I'm going to roll with the Bears here and give me Caleb Williams 3 touchdowns in this matchup.
Uh-oh.
Mm,
Yeah, he might
oh,
have a day, man. I'm nervous. Yeah, he might have a day.
all right. I think in terms of Monday night football games, I don't know if we have to talk about the toilet bowl between the Jets and the Dolphins. I absolutely love Justin Fields overs on his rushing totals if he plays in that one. Brees Hall as well. Miami Dolphins. Good bets are Devon A. Chain. That's a good guy to bet on. In terms of the Cincinnati Bengals and Denver Broncos matchup, T. Higgins unders feels like free money at this point with what the Denver Broncos secondary has done. Should be a nice game for the Broncos to get right. And who knows, can Bo Nix actually improve on his rocky start to the season, Dan? But let's talk about the Cowboys, who are +7 at home without CeeDee Lamb against the Packers. Micah Parsons return on Sunday Night Football to close out this show. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch, man. I mean, it's gonna all the cameras and eyeballs are gonna be on Mika Parsons, and I think Jerry Jones is gonna talk to that group and say, "Whatever you do, don't let him wreck the game." So he might get 4 linemen on,
Don't
on
make
him
me look
on,
bad.
yeah, on Sunday night. It's gonna be a lot of screens, and everyone's gonna be blocking Micah Parsons. But I mean, yeah, the Packers should obviously have no issue on the offensive side after facing Cleveland. I know we had a live show last week, and you were a little worried about the offense. So let's see how they. It's a get right game, I think, against their
It's the
Cowboys
same thing with the
defenses.
Raiders. Like this is their get right
Yeah,
game. It feels like.
exactly. Yeah, so we're gonna see how that offense responds after Cleveland's defense dominated them last week. We're gonna see how they respond this week against Cowboys, and the Cowboys might have a little openings because I know the weakness of Green Bay's teams is like their secondary. So I want to see if will be able to throw against them. That 7 might be too much,
It,
but I think Green Bay is going to win the game.
Yeah, Green Bay feels like I don't wanna say a lock to win the game, but I like their chances. The Cowboys,
Yeah,
their run defense has been solid this year, but their pass defense has been absolutely exposed, and we know the Packers' history of dominating this Cowboys team, and it's something I kinda forgot about even when they traded Micah Parsons, the amount of times Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love have ripped the hearts out of Cowboys fans over the last decade, and now
yeah,
they get Micah Parsons too, like, it's a
yeah.
tough
It's
get for
yeah,
Cowboys fans. It just feels like this one is such a tough matchup for them without CeeDee Lamb against a really
it's
good
brutal.
defense. They're missing the one thing nobody's gonna talk about too is they're missing pieces on the offensive line, and they're facing an elite pass rush. So, Packers feel like a really good pick here to win this one. Um, do I feel confident that the Cowboys can cover? I'm not sure. I think that the best case scenario for them is they walk out of this game healthy, they don't lose anybody else, and I do think the one player I wanna watch on the Dallas Cowboys this week is Jake Ferguson, and that's a guy that I love his over totals. I think the Packers defense, if they do have a weakness, it's against the tight end position, so hopefully, they can exploit that. Fergie can have a nice day, but I think Jordan Love has a nice little day through the air, which we haven't talked
Yeah,
about in quite some time with him, who's struggled. All in all, though, guys, really appreciate you tuning into the week 4 predictions guide. Drop a comment down below about your boldest take heading into the week or any parlays you're planning on cooking up based on the information me and Dan talked about. Hit that subscribe button for more content. And me and Dan will catch you guys next time.